it's your lovely Abbie Dagrin, and welcome back to my channel, lovelies. Today I'll be continuing a series on my channel that deals with natal chart analysis, and today I'll be doing one on Neymar. I'll be speaking on his personality traits as well as his characteristic traits. I'll be speaking on how a lot of his placements have led to a lot of his success and his personality, so please stay tuned for the rest of my video, lovelies. If you have not yet become a part of the Abbie Dagrin family, then please make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when I upload videos on the daily. Please also make sure you hit that like button because I know you guys will love this video. And last but not least, please make sure you share this video with everyone you know, whether it's your friends, your family members, your enemies, or anyone who would really appreciate this content, or if you're a fan of Neymar. Now let's get right into the video, lovelies. Neymar was born on February 5th, 1992, so this qualifies him to be an Aquarius, and because of this, he tends to be someone who is known to be brilliant and to think outside of the box a lot. He's someone who's very unique and loves to do things differently than other people would, and you do see this in his soccer career or football career. You're able to see this a lot because he's able to do a lot of things that people probably are not used to doing. He's also someone who has a humanitarian type of spirit, so he loves to do things for people who are less fortunate than him. He's someone who is a hard worker because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, so Saturn, they love to work a lot. So working is something that he does, something that he appreciates, and something that he always loves to do. So this really explains him as a person. Up next would be his moon in Pisces. So this is a very interesting placement to have. So he's someone who is very much intuitive. He knows how to feel and knows how to understand people on an intuitive type of level. He's someone who's very sensitive to other people's needs, and he is sensitive himself. He's very social. He loves to be around everyone. He loves to do very fun and interesting things. He's someone who's very sympathetic and understands what people go through on a different level. And no matter what happens, he is going to believe and follow his heart. He's someone who's an empath. He's very artistic and he has very deep emotions. He's someone who has very powerful intuition, but sometimes he can have weak boundaries, and that's something that he will need to work on. He's someone who can be indecisive at times, but he's very idealistic and introspective and subjective. Up next will be his Mercury in Aquarius, and it's great that he has his Mercury in Aquarius as well as his Sun in Aquarius, so he's able to speak his mind a lot more thoroughly, and his mind and his speech will flow a lot better. He's someone who thrives on being different from others and is confident that his point of view is the correct one. Having a fixed Mercury, especially in Aquarius, they tend to be very smart, and they tend to have a lot in order for them to change their opinions on stuff. So that's something that he is going to do. He's someone who has a very progressive type of communication, and he sometimes has a contrary opinion than what everyone else has. He's someone who has unpredictable speaking at times, but he uses original words. He's very much someone who thinks differently from other people, and it's very much great for him in his thinking. Up next would be his Venus in Capricorn, and this is a great placement because he's someone who will try to win the heart of others by displaying self-control, perseverance of mind, and a respectable and responsible behavior. He's someone who is very much mature and knows what he wants in life. He's very responsible in a relationship or in a friendship or any type of ship that he has to be in. He's someone who tends to want someone successful, socially validated, and hardworking. He loves to impress with intelligence and determination. He likes predictability in a relationship. He is someone who is going to be responsible through his romantic gestures. He loves old-fashioned love ideas and wants someone who he can count on. He needs material wealth and status to feel safe and secure in a relationship. So this explains what he wants in relationships. Up next would be his Mars in Capricorn, and this is actually a very great placement to have. Having this placement, he tends to always want to work. He's very hardworking and he desires for wealth, success, and power. He does this by being very ambitious and very much enduring. He has a lot of endurance, and this makes sense because it's a Capricorn placement, and Capricorn placements tend to have a lot of endurance in them. They are the types of people who are going to work as hard as they need to in order for them to gain any type of power and wealth they need, and they do not shy away from work. So that's something that I do see a lot with this placement, and it makes sense because it's a great placement in Mars. But they do need to work on learning how to not be too stubborn, because sometimes they will only do things that they feel comfortable doing, but sometimes if they think outside the box and do things they're uncomfortable doing, they can build wealth that way as well. So this is a great placement. Up next would be his Jupiter in Virgo, and this is a very interesting placement. He's someone who's very reliable, responsible, and likes to be of service to others, even though people say this isn't the best placement to have, but they do have a lot of personal ethic and strong moral codes. So they are the types of people who believe in morality, but they also do have a strong work ethic. They're going to work as hard as they need to. They are very diligent in their work, and they're very much organized in their work. Comes from having a Virgo placement, and they tend to be very organized people. But sometimes they can criticize themselves and have inner discord, and that's something that they need to work on, because not everything can be perfect, but you guys do the best that you can. They are the types of people who want their hobbies or pastimes often develop into extremely successful careers. So anything that they can personally do or like can become something great. Up next would be his Saturn in Aquarius. So this is actually his third Aquarius placement. So he has an Aquarius stellium, and having a Saturn in Aquarius is actually great because it is a great placement in Saturn. He tends to pick up on his capabilities and will gravitate toward himself when he needs support. Sometimes this can be very draining because sometimes they just want to be themselves. They want to work hard, but they just want to be great people, because they at times can be people's lessons, and sometimes that's not what you want to be. Sometimes you just want to have a lot of success and just have fun, live your life. But sometimes they can be reserved in their actions because of this, and sometimes their thoughts can be considered unconventional because they just want to have a great life, have a comfortable life like everyone else, and I think it's well deserved from anyone with this placement. Up next would be his Uranus in Capricorn. And he tends to be someone who loves to prepare for the future a lot, as much as possible. And this is interesting in the Uranus placement because they're the types of people who will try to do different things in order for them to gain wealth, to gain power, to gain notoriety. So he's going to work as hard as he needs to in order for him to get that. This is what makes him an automatic innovator, because he will do anything in order for him to have a comfortable life. And because of this, he's someone who is very great at practical solutions to changing society's attitudes towards customs, traditions, and authority structures. Their logical and orderly manner of dealing with these manners will result in permanent and carefully planned reforms that happen in life, and they're able to show authority in a way that is fair and is just in a way. So this is a very interesting placement to have. Up next would be his Neptune in Capricorn. So this makes his third Capricorn placement. So he has a Capricorn stellium as well. He tends to always focus on increasing his power, wealth, and influence. That's something that is a focal point with anyone with this placement, and they try their best to do it in a way that is beneficial to not only themselves but people around them. They are the types of people who will idealize work, practicality, and the ability to attain reasonable goals, but because they stress the need to be selfless and giving, they may find themselves to have to lower their expectations on all fronts and not really accomplish the goals that they want to accomplish. So this is something that is very interesting, difficult, because they do get the work ethic, but sometimes they have goals and they don't feel as though they should be accomplishing those goals, but he should feel that way. Up next would be his Pluto and Scorpio. He tends to be someone who looks deeper into any situation to discover what's really going on behind the scenes. And he's able to feel this way because he was born between 1984 and 1995. So this qualifies him to be a millennial. He's someone who loves intensity and facing what is scary in life. So he is a go-getter, and he's someone who looks at things up front. He's someone who loves to talk about revolutions and movements that are beneficial to society and as well as him. And Scorpio and Pluto is actually a great place to have. And they tend to like to make collective issues very conscious, that people are able to look at them and understand them and just talk about issues that probably previous generations didn't really like to talk about or really like to deal with. But this placement and this generation, they tend to be the type of people who are going to make sure it comes to the forefront. Up next would be his North Node in Capricorn. So with this placement, he tends to be someone who's going to need to develop these attributes in order for him to uncover hidden gifts and talents, which are self-control, approaching life from an adult position, having self-respect, staying goal-oriented, being sensible in his approach to problem solving, keeping commitments and promises, and letting go of the past, having a lot of self-care, and accepting responsibility for his success. He also is going to have to be involved closely with anyone unless they have something practical to offer them. He tends to be all business when it comes to dealing with others, and he's usually going to be focused on a particular goal that will rarely have time to show, but later on it will be. But he tries to always be focused on his goal, so this is what he'll need to do. Up next would be his Chiron in Leo. So this is an interesting placement. They tend to have the wound of being seen and expressing oneself creatively, and healing comes through stepping into the limelight and valuing himself. So, Leo, they tend to be ruled by the sun. So being the sun means that you want to be at the forefront of attention and wanting to be seen. So they may have felt very untalented, unwanted, very awkward, and this is something that they have been stifled of. They weren't able to believe in themselves and show their creativity. So that's why the wound of him stepping into the limelight, or the healing of him stepping to the limelight and valuing himself, is important because he is in soccer, and soccer is a huge stage, so he's able to value his talents and show who he is as a person. So I feel like he has healed this wound. Up next would be his ascendant in Sagittarius, and with this placement, he tends to be someone who's very liberal, very optimistic, very enthusiastic, and humanistic. He's someone who is very adventurous. He's very lucky. He can be indulgent at times and can be very carefree. He loves to explore and travel, which makes sense because Sagittarius placements love to explore. They love to travel. They love to get to meet new things and meet new people. So that's something that he automatically gets with his job working as a soccer player. So that's something that benefits him. He's someone who is very restless but active, comes from being a fire sign. He's very direct, and sometimes it can be perceived as very tactless. He's very optimistic, and he loves to share his opinions. He's lighthearted and charismatic. He loves freedom and independence. He likes for everyone to be happy around him. He's very self-confident and very curious as well. And last but not least would be his midheaven in Virgo. And with this placement, he's someone who loves to get into a career path that has a lot to do with structure. He's someone who loves to do something that is very much persistent. They have the image of being persistent, well-informed, practiced, thoughtful, and helpful. They love to know what you need. They love to establish routines. They love cultivating efficiency. And that's something that is very great with his midheaven, because that's the type of image he shows in regards to his career. He's someone who is safe when choosing a career that prefers stability and security. He's someone who loves different situations and loves the concept of simplifying things. And he's great at analyzing all things in every situation. Though this makes him a great soccer player because he's able to analyze everything. That's all I have for you lovelies today in regards to Neymar's natal chart. Please let me know down below, did you get to learn more about him, or what trait really stood out to you, or what placement stood out to you that really made sense as to who he is as a soccer player and a person as a whole. Please also let me know down in the comments section who else you guys would want me to do a natal chart analysis on. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, that like button, and that share button. And please make sure you're following me on all of my social media accounts, from my Pinterest down to my TikTok, as well as my podcast, my Etsy store, and my PayPal, which are linked down below. I love you all. Please stay safe and healthy, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, lovelies.